Okay, so let us begin with the fifth module, exim trade. Is into international business scenario. Basically, exim, export and import, is one of the essential moment. So, with the help of this exim activities only, probably most of the countries, their GDP is getting growth, even their aspects with respect to economic activities are getting enhanced. So with respect to export trade, yeah, let us begin. The export trade is almost like where we would like to derive with one of the conceptual meaning that when you want to have a shipping of activities of goods, trading, okay, even sometime services are going to get export, then everything comes into the category of this export activities. So basically, being an exporter, we do follow two different types of export. One is about physical, and another one is deemed. So what exactly is the main difference here? Truly speaking, in case if you would like to have that physical transfer of the goods, okay, then it is to be called as physical transport, physical export. Whereas deemed, yeah, deemed to be, in a sense, in future you would like to make that particular export activity, but that transaction is getting happened with respect to that commercial contract, even with respect to the concern of transfer of amount, maybe sometime advance might be paid. Everything is going to get into the basket of deemed to be. Okay, so a complete export is not being happened. That is one of the major hint here, which has been given in deemed export. And furthermore, a certain amount of advantages and disadvantages are associated here. You can also call this as a pros and cons. Okay, yeah, the first thing is about sales, which is going to get enhanced, probably even profit also, because when geographical space is going to get enhanced, automatically everyone's concentration will be there in terms of sales activities, in terms of enjoying a good amount of benefit, that is profit. The margin line is going to get little bit thicker. Okay, so that third point is associated with that first point. See, when the sales is getting enhanced, obviously that should get result into not sacrificing your local market, correct? So when you are trying to match, manage both your local market as well as even that international market, then obviously production capacity should get enhanced. Okay, the second point is about reduces risk and balancing growth. So what exactly that it is going to reduce the risk here? So what kind of risk associated here? Yeah, truly speaking, when you are going to use a certain amount of machinery, okay, so obviously that machinery can be used for so and so number of hours. Assume that 1 lakh hours, 1.5 lakh hours, 2 hours, 2 lakh hours can be used, that particular machinery, 24 bar 7 multiplied by so and so many days. That results into so and so lakh number of hours. That machinery can run routine, okay, without stopping that machinery, correct? So obviously when you do have that much of capacity, potential capacity, and what you are going to do with that much of huge production, ultimately if you do have one more market, geographical space to sell, then you are going to save that much of cost which is being incurred for producing so and so volume of goods and services. Okay, so assume that maybe I can go for taking a simple consideration. You have a production capacity of 50,000 units per annum, okay, and you can able to sell it off. hardly around 20,000 units in your geographical space where you have occupied currently. That is your home country. Okay. So, sir, shall I stop that production immediately after 20,000 units? Because 20,000 is sufficient, no? But what is the potential of that particular machine which can able to manufacture 50,000 units? Correct? So if you are going to reach to that 50,000 units compared with this 20,000, maybe the cost of complete manufacturing will get reduced. Then that is going to be helpful for us in terms of enhancing our margin in the sense profit. You're understanding the theme clearly. That is how it is going to reduce the risk, and again balancing the growth of both your home as well as host countries together. That's going to be one more advantageous point. Okay, so gain new knowledge and experience. So how exactly I can able to gain a new amount of knowledge, experience with respect to this export activity? Is that so essential to have that? Yes, it is so essential to have that kind of knowledge and experience to get associate into our routine work, our managerial experience. Maybe our employees, they are going to get exposed towards international business, international market. That's a major advantage of this particular point. Okay, but it has certain disadvantages. One thing is about extra costs are going to get occur. So what kind of this extra costs are going to get occur? So probably that 20,000 units for that production, you're able to run with 8 employees. But for this 50,000 units of production, you need to have at least around 12 to 13 employees, not exactly double, not exactly 2.5 times. Okay, at least 1.5 times of more than the number of employees currently who are all working. Correct? So obviously that is going to create more and more amount of costs. By chance, if that much of volume of goods is not getting sold, then it is to be called as extra cost. Obviously it is going to be disadvantage, wastage of that particular raw material, wastage of that finished goods, wastage of this labor force. Correct? Everything is going to get associated. Financial risk is also associated. Sir, what kind of financial risk we are going to face? Yes, I was discussing one of the point here about deemed to get export, physical export and deemed to be export, two types. Correct? So I'm discussing about that deemed. So here somebody has paid that advance amount, maybe around 5% to 10% of advance amount is being paid by that particular person, one who is about to receive your materials. And on the nth moment, he is telling open statement that this product is not having any kind of marketplace in my geographical area where I'm not ready to import. Then what it happens to your export activities? It consists of huge amount of financial risk. Okay, and the third point is about export license and documentation. So what kind of export license I'm going to do, or else it is going to get incurred? Yes, let us discuss this particular point into that documentation process. Obviously, we need to maintain a number of records. Then only we are going to be eligible to export a certain amount of goods and services into the market. Okay, even market information, that is only the point what we have learned in last session. Okay, with respect to the amount of information technology is being associated into international marketing. That's a point what we people have discussed in the previous session. Okay, so here gathering that huge amount of data is going to incur more amount of cost. Okay, that need a huge amount of patience also. Okay, so we do have certain amount of procedures and documentation is associated into this work. Okay, so probably we'll discuss this particular point in the next session.